Okay, welcome. I'm Shlomo Bilak, CTO at Benchmark Corp, and I'd like to walk you through one of the products that we've created to help everybody who's down their journey of cloud adoption, microservices, and app modernization. What we've created here is essentially an application to measure your toil, your burden, your battle scars, and all the metrics you currently can't measure. The reason being is everybody's a snowflake in the sense that all organizations have a unique way to deliver software, and fixed and archaic methods for measurement don't work anymore. So I'm going to walk you through what we built here and how it helps you get the metrics and KPIs you currently can't see, even though it's hurting your talent pool. The starting point is basically, what is your average release cadence? You're not looking for perfection here. It's just to give you an order of magnitude or a rough order of magnitude. So let's say we release twice monthly, which is one of the most common. We'll put just an average salary. We're not using salary from the perspective of this is exact. It's more of just to understand what, if you wanted to understand the financial impact of not helping teams with burden, there is a financial spend based on how much time is there. So what the calculator will do as a summary is break it down where the pain points are so that you can target them in a tactical roadmap or understand which capabilities you're missing that are causing the burden, as well as aggregate the total hours, not from the duration of a release, because people misunderstand. If I can release every 2 weeks, it doesn't mean that you don't have hundreds or thousands of hours of personnel working on that release to make it happen, right? There's heroics behind it. So we're taking aggregated hours of effort in the context of each release so that you can actually see what makes up that cadence. And if I increase the cadence, what will happen to my organization? Basically, when you come into this section, it allows you to create your snowflake. And we're taking it from the context. You might have 10 stages. You might have 3 stages. You should be able to delete stages, add stages as you like, so that you resemble exactly how you deliver today. You might have DIT, SIT, QA, performance, demo, DR, prod. We want to incorporate all of them because that is where the hours are spent. And the hours spent is what we're trying to aggregate. Releases can hide the pain and toil that teams go through. So we've built this to take your software engineering practices, measure all of them so you know where to improve. So let's build our snowflake. As you're going through this process, as you're becoming more agile, the intent is most organizations started with waterfall. And if you are starting with waterfall, there will be some agile processes and then there'll be some waterfall processes. How do you measure your waterfall processes when you have no KPIs? You have to ask. You have to ask the right questions. So what's happening here is we're going to measure and facilitate the visibility into what's automated and agile, or what's orchestrated and agile, and what's not, what activities occurring and taking a lot of time. And it's quite a simple UI. You have a lot of information that you can gather if you wanted to fill it in yourself, but also turn on these activities that you're doing. How many times am I doing these? I maybe have 2 meetings per release. I have an average time of 1 hour each. And in that, the number that's really important is that there's 16 people in there. That doesn't change the duration of the release, but there's an aggregated amount of hours that are spent by so many people, which you want to capture. I'm just giving some basic information so that we can get some data going through. But you're going to go through 6 stages: process, environment, either the reuse or creation, deployment, right? The testing required, the security that's needed, and then the audit preparation. So I'm not going to go through each of these. I think it's just relevant that all of these questions, one, we can add questions as needed, as well as it's asking depending on how you do things. You may not toggle everything on. If you're modern, you're probably creating environments every time. If you're not so modern, you might have a reuse or you might have both, where you do some reuse of some instances or containers, or and then on the other side you might have create, always do a blue-green strategy to deploy. So we incorporate all of these strategies and methods. So we're gathering data on how you do things, how the process orients, how you get to the point where you deliver something to production, and we're collecting all that data. I'm going to go straight to the next because I'm now just finished my staging SDLC stage. I'm going to do a little bit of data in production just so we can get a report. I'm going to say I do functional testing once. I probably spend, I don't know, 1,000 hours on that. Let's just give some data here. And it's about 2 people. I'm going to go through the next stages. And then what you get to is your results page. We're trying to aggregate the total amount of hours spent on something. You can clearly see that there's a large portion of production that is weighing on the team, and it's obviously made up of testing. This is going to highlight which stages in the SDLC are burdening your team, regardless of the cadence of release, because that's not a reflection of health. At the same time, we're also going to break it down to which process is affecting it so you know how to fix it, and then quantify what the spend is on that per year if I do a multitude of releases, and then understand the aggregated hours spent. We are focusing on helping teams improve their state and understanding where their challenges are. This is exactly what this is going to do, and it's going to give you the metrics you otherwise wouldn't see. Faster deployments aren't better. More deployments aren't better. Unless you solve the human burden and toil that creates those metrics, you'll always have sustain and scale challenges. Thanks so much for joining. I hope this was insightful.